Sometimes cash gets a little tight. Here's some ways to handle that when you're involved in trading card games. Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Today we're going to talk about cash flow, and this is something that as a business owner, I've owned an LGS now for about 3 years, both online as well as physical. I've got the YouTube channel, I've got a lot of things going on the last 3 years, and this is the biggest lesson I feel like I've really learned in this industry, is that cash flow matters so much. And whether you're doing it at a scale like me and you're kind of doing a store and you've got the whole thing, or you're just doing it smaller and you're slinging singles and you're maybe buying a couple boxes, that kind of thing, cash flow really matters. And I've learned a couple of things across the last 3 years that I think will help you grow in your endeavors here. And I know there's also people way bigger than me. I'm not about to say that. I'm learning a lot, and I just like to share that as I learn. I actually, this past month, it's been a really big, not issue, but it's definitely been something that's been concerning to me in cash flow. I obviously shared with you all that I went really big on Modern Horizons 3, and that's worked out super well. But I still have a lot of cash tied up in Modern Horizons 3. And then I've also got, Bloom Burrows coming up. We've got all these different sets. So this is a lot of these practices are things that I have actively been doing, or I did right before Modern Horizons 3 to get a little bit of an increase in cash going through the business. So number one, why does cash flow matter? Cash flow matters particularly in this industry because you have to spend money in order to make money. This is a fundamental business practice that should not surprise you. But in this industry, particularly with Magic, there is always another set coming out, and the attention is always on that set. Modern Horizons 3 losing some steam right now because everybody is focused on Bloom Burrow. And so as a business, I have to buy Bloom Burrow in order to make the sales of the people who are coming into the store. This is the same thing with Pokemon at a lesser degree. This is the same thing for singles. This is the same thing across the board. You always have to have cash ready to go to buy the next thing in order to sell that next thing. And then the other side of this, from a business perspective, is I get a lot of people reaching out to me. Hey, do you want to buy my collection? Hey, do you want to buy my collection? Hey, I've got these singles. We have an open door policy at the store where people can bring in anything, and we will usually 99 times out of 100 make an offer, a cash offer and a store credit offer. So we have to have money ready to go for these things. And so cash flow is a really big deal that matters a ton in this industry. So here are a couple things that you can do to increase your cash flow without getting more money. The last thing I'm going to talk about here is loans. I don't do any of that crap. I don't take out, I started this business with like $10,000 that I got from selling some camera equipment that I had in the previous thing that I was doing. So I don't do loans. I don't do that. I know there's some people out there who do that. I don't want to encourage anybody to do that. There may be smarter people on the internet who will tell you to do that. That's not me. That's not my style. I like owning the stuff that I own. I like having my own cash flow going on. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that I put into place to do that without digging into the loans. And we'll talk about that as well. Number one, the biggest thing with cash flow that I have found over the last couple of years is relationships. Having different people, not just one person or two people, but a slew of people around you or online that you're connecting with, that you are legitimately friends with, that you legitimately have conversations. It's not always you calling them to ask for things or them asking you for things, but legitimate relationships really can help you do things. I have a couple people who collect really high-end Pokemon cards. And whenever I get into like a position where I want to clear out some, to get some extra cash flow, I reach out to them. I just say, hey, are you looking to buy anything? Is there anything that I have that you're looking for? I make them a deal. They walk away excited because they're getting what they're wanting. And I walk away with some of that extra cash flow. I don't have to wait for something to sell on eBay. I don't have to wait for something to sell. It also works out well to have these relationships with people who want to order and buy things in a little bit of a higher volume, because then as things come along, you can tap on them. You can say, hey, again, these are deals. These people are getting good deals off of market price. They don't have stores. They don't have that kind of thing. And because of my side of the relationship, they're able to get good deals. And for me, it's a really great opportunity to get some cash flow moving when things pop up. If I buy a collection and I have a little bit too much of a product on there and I want to move it, there's people that I have relationships with that crack open boxes and they have that kind of income. And so I think building relationships and not just doing it just on eBay, just on TCG Player, and not just relying on those like online platforms is really important. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of opportunity. I just listed a bunch of stuff on TCG Player today, just like extra inventory. We'll get that in a minute. But extra inventory you can move on TCG Player, but having relationships and people around you who are doing similar things to you is really important. And this will also, this isn't just, again, just the cash flow. Having those people around you will also teach you a lot of different things. I've learned a lot of different things from the people who I interact with. And I've even made purchases because I saw them making purchases. I'm like, oh man, that's really smart. That's a really good move. And to kind of go that direction in terms of buying or selling something, having those relationships is really important. And it also adds to that cash flow of in a pinch, you have people who are friends with you or have your best interest in mind who you can hook up and they've got the cash flow, if that makes sense. I don't want that to seem like I'm saying you're asking for a favor from somebody. It's a mutual win, but having those relationships allows you to have that mutual win, if that makes sense. The second thing is cashing out of old product or old things. These are the things, the background of my video has, whatever. I've got 2 boxes of 4th edition Magic here. What the hell do I need with 2 boxes of 4th edition Magic? Well, it's just things I've accumulated over time. So when cash flow comes, when push comes to shove, and you need that cash flow, sometimes it's like, oh man, payroll's coming up or whatever. Like you need to know that, or maybe for you, sorry, I always forget who I'm talking to. I'm not just talking to myself. Maybe for you, it's like a big collection opportunity to buy locally on Facebook Marketplace or something. To have those extra things that you don't mind just letting go and you pull those up and you sell, I would much rather sell a box of 4th edition to be able to buy a $2,000 collection at, 70% market price or 60% market price or whatever. It's easier to sell those things. And so having a collection is cool, but you have to be willing, for the sake of cash flow sometimes, to let go of those things that you love in order to, propel the business forward. And this is one of the benefits of the TCG industry, is that a lot of us collect things. So you have a reserve in the background, in the back, you have a reserve for your business that you can tap into whenever you need to. Now you have to be willing to be open-handed here. This is the big challenge for all of us, right? You have to be able to be open-handed and let go of things that maybe you love, but it's important for the business. You have to love the business more than you love the things in the business. And this is something I've certainly learned over the last 3 years. You have to love the things, you have to love the business more than the things that you have in your business. So cashing out of your old stuff in order to make a better decision financially is really important. And I think a lot of us have that ability just because years of collecting, your old commander decks, your old trade binders, things like that. It doesn't have to be a Magic 4th edition box, right? There's things that we all have that accumulate in value. To be able to throw that up increases your cash flow, and it's definitely something we all have. So the third thing for cash flow is kind of a weird one. I'm guessing you did not anticipate this one. That is venturing into other games. This is something I feel like I've done pretty well as a business, is eventually picking up other games when you have extra cash. So on each side of the cash flow game, there's going to be times when you have excess cash, and there's going to be times when you have a shortage in cash, right? We've kind of been focusing on the shortage in cash area. But when you have excess cash, there's good things you can do to allow yourself to have better cash flow in the future. And one of the things I've really learned is that diversifying into multiple different games, and when you have that extra cash flow, trying out something new, your risk level is lower when you have higher cash. So you try out something new, and then you're able to have more releases a year. You're able to have more customers in your store. TCG Player, especially when a game starts moving or a meta shifts, you hit more of those things, and so you have different singles that are selling. If you're involved in different games, it really opens up this idea as well that if one game is struggling, you still have cash moving in from the other games. And so I think there's this attitude in TCG world where you should only focus on one game. But I have learned and I have experienced that the more games that you are into, And again, you have to really know what you're talking about. You can't just like jump into a game without really knowing. But the more games that you're able to carry and know, the better your cash flow is moving forward, because you have a wider base of, reaching things. So those are 3 things that I think are really good and really important for cash flow that aren't loans. And now here's the thing. If you want a easy short-term solution, I guess loans work. And I have done this. I said I've never done it. I've done it a few times, very, very lightly, I guess would be a better word. I'd use like PayPal credit to buy something on eBay and, use that to pay it off or whatever. I've done those kind of things. I'm talking like $2,000, not like a huge amount of money. The problem with loans is that most people who get involved in loans and taking out that kind of stuff forget that they owe them. And they're not great at paying them back, quick. I know there's a lot of things with businesses and, net 30 and all that stuff. Listen, I'm sure I'm missing out of a lot of those things and the opportunities there. For me, it's beyond my comfort zone. I like knowing the money in the bank is there and I'm able to do what I'm doing. And the other thing with loans is once you start growing without the base of yourself being there, you can grow your company or your business beyond what you are ready for. And it would be great for me to have three LGSs across, the area and have all this different stuff. And it'd be really great to have that, but I'm not necessarily ready for that. And there's a lot of growth that has to happen for me and things that I have to learn before I get there. So if you just jumpstart and throw in a bunch of cash somewhere, in my mind, if you aren't able to do that, if you're not able to gear yourself up to get there already, you're just not ready for it. And so again, this is where I say, don't look at what I'm doing. Don't look at what somebody else on YouTube is doing. Look at what you are doing. What is your next step from where you are in your business to whatever it is? Don't worry about all these other people doing all these other things. You have your journey and your path. And don't jumpstart things with a loan. I don't know. That's my opinion on that. I might be wrong. But let me know what you think about cash flow in the comment section below. What did I miss? What did you like? If you're looking to talk about all these things, hit up KitchenTableTCG.com where you can hop into the Discord server. If you're looking for access to products, like cash flow and spending money on things and cheaper products, we do have a support tier there that is at distro costs. So if you are a gold wizard in the Discord server, you get access to restocking things at cost plus 3% credit card fees from distro. So have yourselves a great day. Be kind to the people around you. Hopefully we'll see you again next video.